We lost a real giant in thinking yesterday in Scott Adams. I don't know how many of you are familiar with him. Some are, some are not. I get it, particularly if you're of a certain age. Dilbert, the comic strip that appeared in the newspapers for I don't know how long, forever, decades, I suppose. Scott Adams was kind of most famous for that, but then he started getting into commentary a little later in his life, and he became very well known for his communication about President Trump's communication style. He became fascinated with explaining the way President Trump was connecting with people before many other people even understood it. This brought him great scorn by people who used to believe him to be part of the popular culture and didn't think he was political. In fact, here's just a little bit of Scott Adams talking to Jake Tapper back in 2016 about President Trump. Take a listen to this in clip 40.
You, because you've been a Trumpologist and also seem in many instances to have supported Donald Trump, you have experienced something of a backlash, even when it comes to speaking engagements. Is that right?
Yeah, so my speaking engagements dried up since I started talking about Trump. They went to zero. That's how many I have on the books right now. But people also came to Amazon and gave me one-star reviews on my book and said it's because of Trump. And people said they were calling newspapers to get Dilbert kicked out of newspapers, that sort of thing. And now when I go out to try to get funding for my startup, I don't know how hard that's going to be, so my timing might be bad there. But overall, it was also the most fun year I've ever had in my life, and totally worth it. And if I could be part of letting the public see their options a little more clearly, that's good. And I would say on Veterans Day, if anybody wants to find a way to meet in the middle, donate to a veterans organization. It's the one thing everybody agrees on. And it's about time to look for some common ground now.
I was a real admirer of his, and so yesterday, when I heard of his death, I knew he'd been battling. I posted a message on social media. Hope you follow along on social media. If you don't, here's what you missed. My thoughts on Scott Adams, number 39. Hi there. I want to talk to you about the passing of Scott Adams today. Those of you who are fans knew he was ill, the creator of the comic strip Dilbert. Simple drawings of office absurdity. He let millions of people laugh at their own frustrations, bad bosses, pointless meetings, soul-crushing bureaucracy. Made them feel seen. And that alone made him beloved, but Scott was also a teacher and a mentor and a friend to strangers. His book, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, it showed countless readers that failure isn't final, it's data. He made optimism practical, not naive. He had a show called Coffee with Scott Adams, and it offered something rare, clear thinking in chaotic times, calm logic, humor, no agenda except truth. He helped people cut through media noise and spot persuasion tricks and hold on to their sanity at the same time. During lockdowns and division and uncertainty, his voice became a lifeline for many millions. Kind of became internet dad to Americans everywhere. And he did it without yelling or selling fear. He was among the first to see Donald Trump's communication style as high-level persuasion and not politics as usual. And agree or disagree, he taught people how to recognize what others missed. Most admirably, I think, in the face of cancel culture and his famous comic strip being scrubbed by left-wing publications and popular culture just for daring to speak positively of candidate Trump, Scott did it anyway. He sacrificed his comfort and his popularity for speaking the truth as he saw it. And in his final chapter, Scott embraced the ultimate truth, the truth of Christianity and the saving power of Christ. Scott was a pretty classic non-believer, not hostile, but not really willing to hear much of it until the end. He approached faith with that same intellectual curiosity he brought to everything else. It was a quiet, brave, fearless last-minute exploration. In fact, in his last days, he asked to be respected in his private conversations with Jesus, and that made me smile because if Christ worked in Scott's heart the way he worked in mine, I know where Scott is today. You know, Scott made people wiser, braver, and feel less alone. He showed that one clear mind with humor and kindness can change a lot of lives and light it up. And he's going to be deeply missed, and he will be long remembered. In the last few years, I got to thinking today that we have lost some real giants, some voices of intellect, from Rush to Charlie. Our friends Dennis Prager and Victor Davis Hanson have been sidelined with various struggles. We continue to pray over those gentlemen. And then today we lost another giant in Scott Adams. But the thing is, God is still on the throne and in perfect control of it all. Isaiah 40:29 says, God's understanding is unsearchable. Psalm 138:16, we're reminded all our days are numbered, and God knows that expiration date. So as smart as any of us may think we are, or they are, or were, our God is smarter. He's perfect. And one day we'll meet with these impressive intellects again, and all of us will sit together at our Father's right hand, and we're all going to learn from Him together. And that brings me peace. I hope it does you. Until then, we all must work to run our own race, fight the good fight, and finish strong, as Paul encouraged us in Scripture, as Scott Adams did. For the voices we've lost in the last years, it's been a tough string of them. And for those we're missing, who are still with us, including Scott Adams today, we say a thank you to all of them for being reminders to all of us to run our own race and finish strong. God bless you, Scott.